Here's what we're making today. The Phoenix Leather Messenger Bag by Purses by Holly. It's releasing today, the pattern. This is meant to be leather. It's meant to be raw edge on the inside. I happen to use double-sided leather, so it doesn't look raw edge on the inside because it's leather on both sides. So you have a interesting snap closure, which is very secure. You open that up, and underneath the flap, you have a slip pocket, a really good size slip pocket. Let me see if my phone fits in there. Hold on. Oh yeah, I have an iPhone 14 Pro Max and it fits in there just perfectly. Okay, and then on the back you have a slip pocket with a flap. Let's see if the phone fits in there. I'm sure it does. Yep, and the flap closes. Perfect. So a pocket on the back, a pocket on the front, and then the inside is meant to be raw edge, and there's nothing on the inside. Let me see if I can turn this up so you can see a little better. But because I used a double-sided leather, it looks like there's leather on the inside, except I did skive the seams. And then it's a double-sided strap. Not a double-sided strap, but it's one of the fancy straps, very similar to how I make my straps. So I just did mine. And this is leather with webbing. That's it. The Phoenix Leather Messenger Bag by Purses by Holly. Let's get started. Go get the pattern. Hi everyone, this is Barbie with Jeannie's Designs. I'm getting ready to do the Phoenix Leather Messenger Bag by Purses by Holly. This pattern is releasing today, so be sure and go get the pattern. It's a very cute pattern, very unique how it's constructed. It is raw edge on the inside, but it's leather, so it's good. You probably could, if you chose to, put lining in it, but it doesn't really need it. So the Phoenix Leather Messenger Bag. Very cute. You'll see the finished product before this clip. Let's get started. Okay, so we're going to do the strap first. And how Holly does her strap is very much like how I do mine. So you take a 6-inch piece, put your square ring through it, and just baste it closed. Her connector is a little different than mine, and that's okay. I use my acrylic die to cut out my strap connectors. So there we go. Let's add our swivel clasps. And make sure they're right side up. Just like that. This one I'm using the 1-inch. I have 1-inch and 3/4, but I like the 1-inch for this. So because this is double-sided leather, I am going to use the blue for a lot of it, but the black is going to be accent. So I have 2 pieces of double-sided tape on either side there. And that's just to keep it in there. Okay. Let's put that on nice and evenly. And then fold that over so that the ends match. Perfect. Now we're just going to stitch around that, and I am going to back stitch just a couple times. Here we go. Go slow. Then, to avoid my hardware, I'm going to back stitch. And then go forward. Works every time. Beautiful. Then I will put some large rivets in there, black to match my hardware. Okay, let's do the other one and then we'll do the rivets. So, ooh, I gotta get a piece of, hold please. Grab a piece of leather. Okay, so I have a piece of leather that I'm going to put on the end here so it looks more finished. And then when I get that on, I'll sew it on. Okay. Take our swivel clasp. Not a swivel clasp, a slide adjuster. Up and through. Let me get it on the other side. Yeah. Let me see. Sorry. Up and through. There we go. And then we're going to sew that on. There's a little bit of a hangover on this side. Let's cut that off. And we're just going to do 2 rows of stitches. Okay, perfect. You could also put rivets here if you wanted. I think it's just a little more secure if I put 2 rows of stitches there. Okay, let's clean that up just a hair. Okay. Then let's put that through this square ring. Let me make sure I have it not twisted. Up and through. Okay, so there's one end of our crossbody, nicely finished. And this one, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put this on this raw edge. Okay. Nice and even in there. And match our ends. Perfect. Okay. And let's sew that on. And go backwards. finish that up. Nice. Now let's put some of my wide rivets, and I'm going to use black since I have black hardware here. Let's see where they are. Here they are. All right. Let's get our tools out. And let's first of all mark for them where we want them to go. Centered. Perfect. Centered. Perfect. Okay. Noise. This is the only way to do it with these dies. I'm telling you, it's so, look how easy that is. Perfect. All right, now I'm using my long black rivets so that I have plenty, because I'm going through webbing and 2 layers of unskived leather. Two on each side. And then we'll go press these. Perfect. Next step. All right, so the next step is to take your flap and your flap, what you call it, the flap back, which is a smaller piece, and put those wrong sides together. So the black for me is going to be the front. This is going to be the inside where you see the double-sided leather, the blue. Then you're going to draw a line where that flap goes, and then we're going to glue that on. And I'm just using some Aleene's leather glue. I'm not going to use Aquilium, just because of the drying time. This is going to be stitched around the 3 edges, but not this way. So you do want it to glue there. Okay, then we're just going to put that on. And I'm going to clip it in place and let it dry. Okay, so we'll set that aside and let it dry. Then you're going to take your 2 flat closure pieces, and I'm also going to do those one black, and there's 2 pieces, so I'm going to put them together, but I want one side to be the blue and one side to be the black. So we're going to also glue those together. Let me see. If you're doing prong magnetic snaps, you're going to want to put those in first. I'm using rivet magnetic snaps, so I don't need them. I'll put them in after. I know, here I go with glue. Scary. Okay, so the other side is black. This is blue. Yep. So I want black on this side. And again, I'm just going to clip those and let those dry. Okay, so that'll take a few, probably 20 minutes, 30 minutes, something like that. Okay, so just like that. And then we'll use this piece to mark it where the rivets go. All right, next step. All right, so take your long gusset while we let that other stuff dry. Find your centers. And even though I'm using double-sided leather, I still skived some of the pieces. So I'm skiving what she tells you to in the pattern. Find your center. And on your bottom piece, also find your center. Add some double-sided tape, and we're going to center that on nice and evenly. Okay, and then we're going to stitch all the way around. Let me see. Yep. I'm going to get these out of the way. Okay. And I'm going to pull that thread inside here so it doesn't show a back stitch on the outside. Okay, let's pull those to the inside and tie those off. Even up your threads so it's easier to tie them off. Okay. Okay, I'm going to get rid of my marks. Let me grab my wet wipe. Perfect. Okay, so this is what it looks like on the outside. Very nice. Getting towel. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. All right, then we're going to make our marks from our pattern piece for some hidden connectors. It's kind of a unique hidden connector. It's not really a hidden connector. We're just putting it down inside and attaching it with 2 rivets, which is nice because, you know, it's a raw edge on the inside. Okay, let's do it on this side. Okay, love it. Let's punch those holes. And I think I can just do it with this. on both sides. It's not a huge bag, so do you need to reinforce this? I haven't decided whether I need to yet. Okay, and then we'll cut those holes for that line. Don't overcut. Always go on the short side, and you can always make it bigger. That's what I say. Okay, there's one. Okay. Next step. All right, so I went ahead and did one. Doesn't that look nice? Oh my gosh. So let's repeat it on this side. And get my other. So I'm putting the black. I want the black showing, not the blue. So we're going to put the D-ring connector down inside with the black showing here. Oops, I'm going to add my D-ring. And it's a tight hole, so I using my Kelly's to grab that other piece and pull it through, which is not hard to do. It's just I don't want okay, perfect. Now I'm going to mark for my holes on my connector. Then I'm going to make my holes. Okay. And I'm just using some of my long rivets this time. And this is all there is to it when you do kind of like raw edge connectors. It's easy, actually. Okay. Nice. All right, let me go press those. All right, so now we're going to do our little flap closure that has the snaps. On the pattern piece, it has you mark from one side, and we're going to stitch up and around that side. Only. Let me see what my stitch. Yeah, just an 1/8. And then we're going to add the male side of the magnetic snap. And stop when you get down to the other mark. And I did back stitch there. I didn't back stitch over here, so I'm going to just tie that off. Then we'll attach our snaps. I'm using 14 millimeter magnetic snaps. Okay. And this I want to be the right side. So the button or the rivet button is on the right side. And your snap is on the wrong side or the underside. So this is the side, right side, and that's where the button, I call the button of the rivet, and then the male portion is here. So let me go snap those. All right, so on your strap or your connector, you want to put your female portion of your snap on the top. And both sides of your snap are going to be on the inside. This is the outside. So the rivets or the buttons are on the outside. So it's going to end up going like this. Just like that. Very cute. All right, so where you stopped and started your stitching is where you're going to draw a line. And on your front pocket, you're going to draw a line, what she tells you to in the pattern, up from the bottom. Put a piece of double-sided tape about 1/4 of an inch up from that line. Oh, I forget. I have these little readers. Let's see if this helps me. I don't know. It does. I'm going to lay the bottom of this little flat piece right on that one line centered. Ooh, I better center this. Hold on. Let me see. 1, 2, 3. Let me see. There we go. Centered right on that line. Okay. Then we are going to sew from our previous stitches down and around and across. Okay, so I think I'm going to go across first so it stays put. Get my threads. I'm going to start where I stopped. Perfect. And I'm back stitching. So across that line. And then we're going to come down and around. And just go slow. Do 1 stitch at a time on your corners. You have plenty of clearance. I use 14 millimeter snaps. So depending on how, if you use 18, you might not have quite as much clearance. So you might want to use your zipper foot. And I'm going to stop where I started. Back stitching. Perfect. Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay. Now I'm going to get rid of that mark that I have there. Anywhere where you have your leather mark, you want to get rid of that. Okay. So this is what you have so far. This is the front pocket. Love it. Okay. All right, so mark the center bottom of your front pocket that has the closure. And on one of your fronts that you have skived, I skived, even though it's double-sided leather, I skived, and then the corners are cut out on the bottom. Then find a measurement 2 inches up and mark the center. On this, take your paper off your double-sided tape. And we're going to lay that. That's working pretty good, I have to say. We're going to lay that centered on that line. Now, I'm just going to measure to make sure I'm even on each side and that it's straight. Not quite. I'm going to come over just a hair. It doesn't have to be absolute perfect, but you want it to be pretty close. Okay, that's good. Perfect. Actually, perfect. Now, we're going to sew around our pocket. And I'm going to go ahead and pull those threads to the back. This is the exterior. Actually, no, I'm going to back stitch because I want to have a little extra, since that pocket's going to be getting in and out of. Perfect. I like it. So far, I like it. I love the double-sided leather. I do have to say. All right, let's burn those threads if there are any to be burnt. Okay, now you have that front pocket. Now there's a little leather marking here. Let's get rid of that. Okay, I love it. That looks so good. All right, next step. All right, so on your back piece, measure down from the top. This is the top that is unskived. Just ignore my little cutout. I made a boo-boo. No big deal. Measure down, centered. Take your flap, and on my back pocket and my flap, I already added the snaps. Let me get it over here so you can see. Okay, and then just make sure your snap, where it snaps, is nice and even when you put it together, just like that. Okay. Take your flap, and on the right side where your button is, put a piece of tape. And we're going to lay that right on that line, centered. And I didn't center my piece. Hold place. Thought I did. I guess not. There we go. And right on that line, centered. Okay. Then we're going to stitch across that. Don't go outside of it. And I'm going to back stitch pretty well, actually. Okay. Then if you have any visible leather markings, get rid of those. You don't want those visible. Yeah, I can't see them. Perfect. Okay. Then from the bottom up, we're going to measure. Let me make sure I remember what I read. Oh, on our back, where'd my piece go? Right there. Put some double-sided tape. Take your tape off. and measure up from the bottom, and you're going to center it. What she tells you to in the pattern. And I did not center my bottom. How can that be, dear? No big deal. There we go. Okay. Then we're going to lay that centered. Now, before I stitch anything, I'm going to make sure this is even, and it's a little tiny bit off, so I'm just going to move it over. Let me see. That's pretty good. I'm going to move it over just a hair more. There we go. And just make sure that's straight, which it is. I love it. Now we're going to stitch around our pocket. And I'll be back stitching. I love double-sided leather. I've decided I really like it. Alright, let's burn all our threads since this is raw on the inside. Okay. Alright, let's see how it looks. Oh my gosh, perfect. Get rid of any markings that you have. All right, next step. All right, so in her directions, she gives really good ideas for marking your hole, and this is the flap. I did exactly what she suggested. I used a round die on each end, and then I cut it out. Is it perfect? It's pretty close. But if you don't have anything like this, then just use some really sharp scissors, and you'll be fine. Okay, I love it. It's perfect. Now we're going to top stitch around these three sides, the side, the bottom, leaving the top unsewn. And you're just top stitching. And I'm back stitching. Check my stitches. Okay, that looks good. Yeah. All right. Now, I wonder if she, oh yeah, she does have a stitch around this hole. I wondered if she was going to have us do that. Yeah, I don't like my stitches right here, so I'm going to fix these around this corner. I don't like how it came out. Doesn't look good. So I'm going to redo those, just those. You want your top stitching to look really good, and it didn't look good. It looked fine on the front, but I didn't like how it looked on the back. It didn't look good. Not having it. Not having it. There we go. All right, let's clean that up and redo it. I have to get some light down here so I can see it. Even a dark blue on black is kind of hard to see. There we go. There we go. All right, let's try that again. I'm going to start where I ended. And stop where I ended there. Let's see how that is. Oh, 100% better. Yeah. You know, you don't want things to look not good. And that looked not good. Okay. Little Jack had to make an appearance, and that's okay. Okay. Perfect. Now we're going to stitch around this inside as well. And I'm going to go slow around my little corners there. Take your time. Perfect. That is perfect. Going slow does make a difference, I will say. I don't like to go slow, but it makes a big difference. All right, there we go. Doesn't that look nice? Can you even see my stitches? There we go. Yeah. All right, next step. All right, so take your back piece, measure down what she tells you to in the pattern, and then on that line, put a piece of double-sided tape within the lines. I'm just using 1/8. Take your flap, right side up, And we're going to lay the flap right side up on that line centered. I didn't mark my center right there. There we go. Because this is the back, and so we're going to, it's going to go forward. Yeah, I have a little extra on that side. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Then we're going to do 2 rows of stitches there. 1 1/8, and I'm back stitching. Oh, I ran out of bobbin. How can that be? Okay. I have another one ready to go. Thank goodness. Text 70. You know, you run out of text 70 so much faster. Okay. No big deal. And we're going to do 1 more row. And then we'll go in and clean all those little threads up. Okay, love it. Let's clean all that up. Try not to burn longer threads. Trim them before you burn them. Just a word of caution. Okay. This is so cute, Holly. I have thread everywhere. Okay. Yeah, I have little marks, leather marks. Get those off before they stay permanent. Okay. Love it. Next step. All right, so find on the front of each of your pieces, front or interior, either way, find the center on the bottom. You should have already marked the center on your gusset. And now we're going to lay those right sides together. I'm going to use my little metal clips. And we're going to clip along the bottom. And then pull it to the top. Actually, we're going to do the bottom first. And we're going to stop and start where our that notch is. So just mark that on your gusset so you can see it. So on your exterior piece, there's a notch, and you just need to start and stop on that notch. 1/4 inch seam allowance. Across the bottom only. It's a beautiful thing. Okay. Then we'll pull that to the top. Let me see. I'm just looking at my pattern to make sure. Oh yes, we need to cut into the bottom gusset up to our stitches where we started and stopped. We already have the notch in our exterior. So don't cut your stitches, just stitch right up to it. And then we're going to bring that to the top. And it appears to be fitting very well. Let's see. Yeah, oh my, it's perfect actually. That friend Holly of mine, she's a smarty. Okay, so that side's clipped. Let's bring this side up. This is a great bag to start leather. You don't necessarily have to use a leather that needs to be skived. I don't think. It's probably better only because there's no interfacing. But you could also just line this bag if you wanted to. All right, now we're going to go from the bottom up, or you can go from the top down, either one. I had too much stuff out. Hold, please. Yeah, your flap is not far from your seam, so just, it's probably better to use a zipper foot. Because you don't have a ton of space. It's plenty. You shouldn't have any trouble with it, but just FYI. Okay. This one I'm just going to go from the top down. It's just easier for me being a right-handed gal. Oh, please.
Did you see that message that I sent you from Sabrina?
Oh, I did, about Zoom. Okay. All right. Oh my gosh, I just dropped my stiletto right on top of my foot. Ow. Funny. Not really. Okay, just cleaning those threads up. Oh my gosh, that looks so good, you guys. All right, we're just gonna do the other side. Find your centers, flip across the bottom, and sew the bottom first. And stop and start where your little notch is. And I'm just going to mark it on both sides. Okay. All right, let's do it. Oh my gosh, you guys, my where I stabbed myself, I'm bleeding. That is hilarious, bulb. Okay. Not really, but it is. Okay. Trying to find my mark. Oh, there it is. Okay. There we go. Okay, and let's see my mark. There it is. These stilettos are sharp, especially when they have a little momentum. Guys, I'm cracking myself up. All right, let's bring it to the top. And do the two sides. This leather smells fantastic, I will say. Oh, we got to clip into that. Hold on, let me make my clips. And you're making the clip on your gusset up to where you stopped and started. Don't go through your threads. Okay. Curious, you guys can comment in the comments who here has used double-sided leather before. It is very nice to sew with. Skives beautifully. You wouldn't think you'd need to skive it, but it is thick. I bet it's at least 3 ounces, so it does need to be skived. Okay, let's do it. Did I stop bleeding? Yes, I did. Okay. Here we go. Tools. Tools in the sewing room are very dangerous. Mm-hmm. And I am using a 4 stitch length. It's typically what I use for connecting our seams. I know some people use less, but I like the 4. And I'm back stitching pretty good on the corners and at the top. Okay, let's do this one. Almost done. Okay. Make sure that you've, connected your seam. And burn any threads that are kind of hanging out there. Don't burn yourself, Barb. Goodness gracious alive. I know. I filled this up. This is a refillable lighter, and it's like the. I need to turn the flame down a little. There we go. That's better. The flame was massive. Okay. Awesome. Let me just read the directions, make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, she does say clip the bottom corners at a 45 degree. Don't cut your seams. I mean, your threads, obviously. So I'm just doing a little trim on the corners. And then we're going to turn it. Look. All right. Okay. Let's do it. Let me put you on the bigger camera. Hold on. There we go. All right. Now, you could put some rivets there. I might, she didn't say to do that, but I might put a couple of rivets there. Let's see. On the flap on the back. So this is denim and black double-sided leather from Yellowstone. I don't know if she has any more. I'm assuming she does. But, yeah. OMG. I love it. Where's my strap? Here it is. Now, it doesn't have a ton of structure, which, I'm okay with. You could use stiffer leather and have a little more structure if you wanted. Oh my gosh, so you have a nice back pocket, huge actually. And then on the front, you have this closure, which is very unique. I like it. So you open that up, and then underneath, you have another slip pocket. And it's just completely open on the inside. Can you see? But this is double-sided leather, so it looks finished. I know, it's black. You can't see. Oh my gosh, let me put it on so you can get an idea of the size. It's a messenger bag. It's a leather messenger bag. Oh my gosh, I love it, Holly. And just, I mean, consider the leathers that you could use to contrast. How cute those are. So a couple things, and I may have missed it. So on this flap, I would have, and I probably just missed it, I would top stitch this so it looks finished. And then on the pockets, I would also top stitch the pockets on both of these pockets, actually. Just to make them look a little more finished. You know, you don't need to. Oh my gosh. The Phoenix Leather Messenger Bag by Purses by Holly. You guys should go get it. You could easily put a lining in there and do a drop-in, but it's not needed. It is a good size. I don't have a water bottle in here, but my guess is, let me see what she says the dimensions are. 10 wide by 10 tall by 2.5 deep. Very, very cute. And this is where I was thinking about putting a rivet here and a rivet here just for decoration. Doesn't really need it, but you could. Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. Holly, you did good. The Phoenix by Purses by Holly. Now, just interesting enough, I have never met Holly in person, but I consider her a friend of mine. She is the sweetest thing since sliced bread. You guys really should go support her. She's a mom, young kids, does this on the side. Very talented. The Phoenix by Purses by Holly. Go get the pattern. It's releasing today. Thanks for watching.